Hey everyone, in this video we'll learn how to gracefully handle errors in Python using try, except, and even finally. Instead of your program crashing with a scary red error, you can catch it and handle it smoothly. This is what professional developers do, and you are about to learn it too. So the first question is, why try and accept? So imagine asking a user to enter a number and they type text instead, and your program just crashes. It's not cool, right? So using try and accept, we can anticipate errors and deal with them without breaking the program. So the basic structure of a try and accept block is, first we write the try keyword, then give a colon, then we get a try block. Inside there we write the code that may cause error. Okay, it may or may not cause error. So if it cause error, we handle that in the accept block. In the accept block we get the error. For example, the error is some error, then we give a colon, and inside the accept block we tell Python what to do with the error. Okay, now that you have understood the basic structure, let's have a real world example. So I'm gonna write the try block again, and here let's say I have a variable called x which holds the value 10. Then we have another variable called y, and that holds the value 0. Okay, now if I write another variable called result, and there if I try to divide x which holds the value 10 with y which holds the value 0, and then try to print the result, now it will throw error. You know it, I know it, so you have to handle that. So for that we write the accept keyword, and now we accept the zero division error. Then we give a colon, and we tell the Python if any zero division error occurs in the try block, then just print you cannot divide by 0. Now if I run the code, it prints you cannot divide by 0. But if I make this 2 and run the code, you'll see it prints 5. So Python executes code line by line. First it executes this line, then this line, then it executes this line, and run the code. You will see it prints you cannot divide by 0. Now let's comment this out. Let's say we don't want the try block or the accept block. We just want to run this code as we used to do normally. So we have these variables x and y, then we try to do the division operation, 10 divided by 0, and we want to print the result. If I run the code, you'll see it not only throws error but also crashes the program and shows the error in a scary way. But if we wrap the code inside the try block and we handle that inside the accept block, then it will tell the user about the error, but it won't crash the program. As you can see, it does not crash the program but notify the user that you cannot divide by 0. Now this try and accept blocks shines when we work with the user inputs. So let's see another example. Let me comment this code actually, and let's define another try block. So I'm gonna write try, then colon, and here let's have a variable called num, and here we expect a user input. So I'm gonna call the input method, and here we tell the user that enter a number. Okay, now Python takes every input as a string, so we have to convert that into integer. So let's wrap this input method inside the int method. Okay, then after that when user gives the number, we want to print that you wrote, and then just to give the number. Okay, now here a value error can happen. So if user gives letters instead of numbers, so it can throw a value error. So we expect a value error here. So I'm going to write value error, then colon, and write the print statement. Inside there I'm going to write that is not a number. Okay, now if I run the code, it asks for a number. So if I give here 12, Python will take 12 as a string, but as this string contains a number, this int method will convert that string into a number. So if I submit, as you can see, it tells that you wrote 12. But if I again run the code, now let's say if I write ABC, now this ABC is not number, so this int method cannot convert this ABC to an integer. This is actually impossible. So if I submit this, it says that is not a number. So this line causes value error. So Python does not goes to this line and just jumps to the except block. Now let's see how we work with multiple except blocks. Let me comment this and write another try and except block. So let me write the try block, and here let's say we have some codes that can throw two kinds of error. So here I have a equal, and here let me call the int method and just pass ABC. Now int method cannot convert letters into integer, so this line will throw error. It will throw a value error actually. Then let's say we have another operation, which is b equal 5 divided by 0. Now this is not possible either, and this will throw zero division error. So we have to handle both probable error with the two except blocks. So first I'm gonna write the except block, and this line can throw value error. So let's hold the value error and colon, and let's print value error occurred. Now this line can throw error as well, and that will throw zero division error. So I'm gonna write the except keyword again, and it can throw zero division error. Then I'm gonna give this colon and just write the print statement, and I'm gonna write division by 0 is not possible. So now if I run the code, we'll see that a value error occurred. So as you know, Python executes code line by line. So first it executes this line, then it goes to the next line. When it sees that there is an error, it just stops in the try block and jumps to the value error part and prints value error occurred. But let's say we fix this error and put here 12 and again run the code. Now when Python comes to this line, it does not sees any error, so it does not jumps to this block, but it goes to this line and finds that this line holds error, and that is zero division error. So it jumps to this except block and prints division by 0 is not possible. So the flow of the code should be maintained while handling the errors. Now as you can see, this throws value error, this throws error type of zero division error. But let's say your program can throw an error whose type you don't know. So how will you handle that? So let's see how we can handle that situation. Let me define another try block. Let's say I'm gonna say name equal my name. Now my name is not defined, so this line will throw error surely, but the type of this error we don't know that. So to handle this kind of errors, what we can do is we can write the except keyword, then we have exception, so we write exception, this keyword, then we say we want all the exceptions as E. Now you can name this anything, E or error or error, it doesn't matter. Let's call this E, then colon, and we just can write print an error occurred, and let's also print the E. Now if I run the code, you'll see an error occurred, which is this message, and the actual error is my name is not defined. We can hold all the errors whose type we don't know in this exception. Now let's see the use case of the finally block. Let me comment this. So let's write the try block again, and here let's do x equal 1 divided by 0, and let's write the except keyword and here we expect the zero division error. And in the print statement, we just say that error occurred. Okay, then after this except block, we can write a finally block, and there in the print statement we can say that this will run no matter what. Okay, so if I run the code, you'll see that it prints error occurred, then it prints this will run no matter what. So what is happening here is Python coming to this line and seeing that here we have this zero division error, so it jumps to this block and prints that, and we tell Python that after executing this, finally you have to execute this part. So even if I do 1 divided by 1, then print x and run the code, you'll see it prints x, which holds the value 1, and it also prints the finally block print statement, which says this will run no matter what. So this part of the code will run if the try block succeeds or fails, means the except block executes. So as you can see, in this case, first it printed the try blocks print statement, then it printed the finally blocks print statement. But if I write here 0, means 1 divided by 0, and run the code, this time it didn't printed the try blocks print statement, it printed the except block print statement and the finally block print statement. So keep in mind that the code inside the finally block will run no matter what happens. It will run if error occurs, and it will also run if error not occurs. Now we can merge try, except, and finally with the else block as well. So let's see that example too. So I'm gonna comment this, and here I'm gonna write the try block. Let's write the print statement. Just write no error here, and we can write the except block, and in that block we can tell that something went wrong. Okay, now if the except block does not executes, we can't execute the else block, and there we can say that try block succeeded. Okay, so you can consider these two as if else. So if any exception occurs here, print that from this except block, otherwise go to the else block and execute the code in the else block. And we can have the finally block as well, and there we can say that it runs always at the end. Okay, now if I run the code, you'll see it prints no error here, means there is no error in the try block, so it ignores the except block. So as we are not executing the except block, instead of this except block, it goes to the else block and executes the code inside the else block, and this block, as you know, will be run always. So we see the output, no error here, then it ignores this line, it prints try block succeeded, then lastly it runs always at the end, means the finally block. So I hope you understood how we work with try, except, else, and finally. I hope now you are ready to stop your programs from crashing and start handling problems like a real developer. So that's all for now. See you in the next one.